Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drivers Room. We're in the Endurance Championship today. This is Season 3 of 2020, Round 3 Tier 1, racing in the Group 3 category today at Blue Moon Speedway Infield A layout. Let's take a look to see how qualifying went today. Pole position today we have Smith, starting on the Racing Super Softs. He's joint third in the table at the moment on 54 points. Missed the opening round of the season, straight back to winning ways in round 2 with a solid victory. Puts it on pole position again today, and back-to-back victories will certainly put him in a good position to fight for the championship this season. In second place we have Plucks the Duck, starting on the Racing Super Softs, 5th place in the table at the moment, 52 points, missed out on pole and fastest lap on his way to an opening round victory, so he's 2 points behind Smith and Mack in the table at the moment. Like Smith, only 1 round registered so far, so in a position to make it 2 wins in 2 appearances. In third position we have Hit the Mac, starting on the Racing Super Softs, joint third in the table with Smith on 54 points, finds himself towards the top of the table after a podium in round 1 and a top 5 last round. Good qualifying position here today, really needs another podium and could really do with beating Plucks or Smith on track to continue his championship fight. In 4th place today we have Lionessi, starting on the Racing Super Softs. He's second in the table at the moment with 58 points after a brilliant second place in the opening round. Only managed in 8th place last round. Another driver who needs a podium today to stay in the fight. I imagine he'll be looking to better his round 2 result moving forward. In 5th place today we have Gadget, starting on the Racing Super Softs, 6th in the table at the moment on 44 points. Sluggish start to the season for our reigning Drec champion, picking up 4th and 7th place finishes in the opening rounds. Definitely needs a sharp upturn in results today if he is to defend his championship. And in 6th place today we have myself, DJ Rice, starting on the Racing Super Softs, joint 9th in the table at the moment, 30 points after a reasonable 6th place finish in the opening round. Finished at the back of the pack in round 2, it's definitely a result be looking to drop moving forward if I'm to stay in this ever improving Tier 1. And in 7th place today we have Lorcas, starting on the Racing Super Softs, 7th in the table with 38 points after a disappointing opening round. Lorcas picked up good points in round 2, finishing just outside the podium places. Hopefully that form continues into this today's race. We'll see how he gets on from 7th. In 8th place today we have Ben, starting on the Racing Super Softs. He's 14th in the table at the moment with 14 points, 9th place finish in the opening round, followed by a DNF in round 2, leaves Ben 14 points above the relegation zone. Both drivers below him have no points registered, and one of them is Dawson, so definitely needs a good result today. Reasonable qualifying in the midfield, so he gets on from 8th. In 9th place today we have Senna, starting on the Racing Softs. He's 12th in the table at the moment on 20 points, did miss the opening round of the season and finished just outside the top 5 last round, so definitely more good results to come from Senna. I imagine he will move up the table as the season continues, but has got a lot to do starting from 9th today. In 10th place today we have Kamaru, starting on the Racing Super Softs. He's our championship leader at the moment on 62 points. After a solid top 5 finish in the opening round, Kim had a stunning drive in round 2, picking up a 2nd place and a haul of 40 points. Definitely going to need some luck today though if he's going to retain his lead, narrow lead at the top, starting from 10th. And in 11th place today we have Drec, starting on the Racing Super Softs, 11th in the table and 22 points. Still working on a bit of consistency, still getting caught up in the odd incident and needs to iron out the odd mistake, as he is quite a formidable driver when on form. So starting just outside the top 10 today, we'll see how he gets on. In 12th place today we have Cafe Del Mar, starting on the Racing Super Softs. He's 13th in the table at the moment on 18 points. Missed the last round, so just has his 7th place finish from the opening round to his name this term. Needs a good result today because I can see things getting very tight at the bottom of Tier 1 in Season 3. In 13th place today we have Wilco, starting on the Racing Super Softs, bottom at the table at the moment, no points registered so far, so this being round 3 he can't afford to drop any results for the rest of the season. There's a lot to do starting from near the back today as well. See how he gets on from 13th. In 14th place we have Daz, starting on the Racing Softs. He's joint 9th in the table with 30 points with myself. Steady starts of the season for Daz with 8th and 9th place finishes so far. Could do with pushing for another top 10 finish at least today, starting from 14th. And 15th today we have Muller, starting on the Racing Softs. He's 8th in the table with 32 points after picking up a solid podium in round 2, putting his first points on the board for this season. But back in the disagreeable Aston Martin, finds himself at the back of the pack today. But anyway, that is our grid walk for today. Let's get underway. Here we are then, Blue Moon Speedway, about to get underway. Round 3, Tier 1 of the Drivers' Room Endurance Championship. Smith on pole, Pluck second, Mac in third to build up the revs. And we're off. That looked like a really good launch from Smith there. Really good traction off the line, and looks like Mac's had a really good start from third place. He's alongside, looks like he's ahead of Pluck's going into T1. He's got the inside as well, so he should take P2 here, and he does. As Pluck's down to third place. You've got Gadget up to fourth place as well in the opening corner. Lioness down to fifth, Senna in sixth. Few cars getting bunched up behind. I think I've had a really poor start. Oh, it's myself, Kamaru and Lucas coming together there. And the pinball physics of Gran Turismo just sending Kamaru out into the wall and picking up damage. I think that's Ferdek running wide in the background there as well. Yeah, major damage from the front left to Kamaru there. He's side by side with Bennett at the moment. Dropping down to 12th now. Wilco 12th, Muller 13th, Daz 14th, yeah, Ferdek in 15th. You got Smith out in front. Really good start from Smith. Mac under a lot of pressure from Plucks. He'll do really well to break the slipstream of that Toyota, but you see Smith going a little bit defensive already. Not defensive, but just breaking the toe down the main straight. And we'll see if Plucks takes a look into T1 on lap 2. Mac's got the inside again, keeps it nice and tidy, but that's a really good overtake for Plucks on the outside if he can make that stick. But Mac will have the inside of the next set of corners, and he's still hanging it round the outside. A little bit of a wheel on the grass there, and he's made it stick as Mac goes a little bit wide as he loses control. Maybe put a wheel on the grass there himself, but yeah, really good move there from Plucks around the outside of two corners. Made it stick and got the inside of T4, I believe. But yeah, so Plucks back up in the second. You see Mac falling right back down to 5th place there, so I think he did put a wheel on the grass as well. We see the tail of the Mercedes kicking out, and lost a lot of speed, lost a couple of places. You got Gadget up into 3rd place now in the podium positions. Get Lioness in 4th. Hit the Mac in 5th place. Ayrton Senna in 6th. Lucas in 7th. Myself in 8th. So yeah, I did start 6th. Had a really poor start. Went into T2 in about P10 and 11. Unfortunate coming together with a couple of drivers as we all got bunched up. But yeah, Cafe Del Mar in 9th. Ben in 10th. Wilco in 11th. Ferdek back up into 12th place now. So he didn't pick up damage. Did look like he hit the barrier, but looks like he's got away with it. As nearly going 3 abreast there, Ferdek, Muller and Daz, and looks like Kamaru's pitted at the back there to get that damage fixed. And yeah, racer recovery unfortunately already early on. And yeah, this heavy damage causing a lot of issues for people in Tier 1 at the moment. And yeah, definitely worth discussing more. So Smith in 1st place anyway, doing a good job. Plucks in 2nd, Gadget in 3rd, Lioness in 4th, so Mac down to 5th place now after that mistake. Senna in 6th, myself in 7th, so it looks like I've got ahead of Lucas somewhere. Lucas in 8th with front right damage. May have picked that up as well with the incident on lap 1, I'm not sure. But yeah, Lucas running with damage to the front suspension and aero. So still staying in the toe a little bit. Looks like I'm getting a bit of toe from Ayrton Senna ahead now. We're really starting to get grips with the Group 3 Volkswagen GTI. VGT I think it is as well. So let's see what I can do from 7th. That's Lucas in 8th, Cafe Del Mar in 9th. Ben in 10th, rounding off the top 10. Wilco not far behind in 11th. Muller ahead at 3rd again, so these 12th, 13th and 14th changing hands at the moment. They're still behind this group. 14th place, so Kamaru recovering in 15th. Excuse me, but just coming around to finish lap 4 now. So Smith doing a really good job out in front. We'll see what times he's setting at the moment compared to Plux behind. And very consistent times, 1:07.1, so 1:07.5 from Plux there. Plux losing around half a second on that last lap, as he might be coming under a little bit of pressure from Gadget now. As second, third, fourth and fifth still pretty close together. And looks like I've got the move done on Ayrton Senna somewhere as well, probably down the main straight, as yeah, just on the start of lap 5 now. So himself up into 6th place, Senna in 7th, Lorcas in 8th, still carrying reasonably good speed considering the damage. Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Ben in 10th, Wilco still 11th, Muller 12th, 13th, Daz in 14th, Kamaru 15th. Just going past the 5-minute mark now. And getting maximum, using the maximum amount of track to maintain a really good lap time as the tyre wear starts to kick in. I think it's a really short pit stop time here as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see 4, 5, 6 stop strategies today. I think will be pretty popular. Especially with the faster guys who can build up a bit of a gap and afford to come out and clean air again. And yeah, build a gap early and make a pit stop. Oh, that's a big mistake from Smith there somewhere as I'm waffling on. Looks like we missed that. Let's take a look back. So yeah, as we rejoin the race, a few seconds back, I think it was in the entry into turn 4. Yeah, look, the rear left just touches the grass, kicks the arse round and just about avoids the barrier. Huge mistake there from Smith as he drops right back down to still recovering. That's right up to 10th place from the lead of the race. Absolutely kicking himself. Really short lap here, so there's not a lot of field spread at the moment. Lap time well under a 1:10, and yeah, really costly mistake there from Smith. So down to 10th place now. We'll see what he can do from there. But yeah, that is huge. Could have a huge impact on the championship as well. And obviously Smith one of the favourites for the championship this year. Plux up into 1st place now. Gadget up into 2nd. Lionessy in 3rd. Matt back up to 4th, and myself in a top 5 position. So yeah, Senna in 6th. All these drivers getting promoted thanks to Smith's mistake, and it looks like Smith may have pitted as well. Struggling to find him on the graphic there. Yeah, out on fresh rubber in 14th place, just ahead of Kamaru, who is right on the tail end of the back of the pack again. With, yeah, 1:07's really quick lap times from Kamaru, but yeah, two very quick drivers right at the back of the pack now, and this could allow Plux. Yeah, so obviously allowed Plux a bit of breathing room. He's got Gadget to contend with. See if Gadget can start closing the gap and put him under a little bit of pressure. But I don't think Plux is that far off breaking the toe now, if he hasn't already. As Gadget's going to start off to think about going defensive against Lionessy, which might slow the pair down and allow Plux to get away down the road. And that's 3 cars nearly side by side down the main straight. We've got Lorcas still carrying on with that front end damage. Lorcas, Senna and Ben, I believe, all 3 cars side by side down the main straight, and it looks like Senna's come out on top. And Ben slots into 7th, Lorcas in 8th place now. This midfield battle starts to hot up as Cafe Del Mar's closing the gap behind as well. So Wilco into the top 10 positions now. Muller in 11th, Ferdek in 12th. Daz still in his toe, as they got Smith and Kamaru for company now. So very interesting to see if these guys can get through the pack. It's coming up behind a very close battle for 12th and 13th at the moment. And yeah, things could get very close. Is that Daz peeling off for a pit stop? Does look like it. So Daz pitting reasonably early, and maybe just wants a bit of clean air. And Ferdek carrying on now, and that is Cafe Del Mar, I think, just rejoining the track. Oh, it was a awkward pit exit onto a very fast entry into T1 there, but Cafe Del Mar just about doing enough to stay ahead of this fight. It's Smith making up a place on Ferdek anyway, up to 12th now, and Kamaru the next man down the road. Rear damage for Ferdek as well, and that is Smith taking a look on the inside of Cafe Del Mar. Cafe Del Mar doing enough and defending well around the outside of that corner. Smith losing the back end on the marbles there a little bit, but still well tucked into the slipstream of Cafe Del Mar ahead. And I think we've had some pit stops further up as well, as I think Gadget and Mac have pitted. So you've got Lioness up into second, myself up to third place now, not having pitted yet. So Gadget rejoining the race in 4th, and Hit the Mac rejoining the race in 5th place, as promotes Ben up into 6th place now. So there's been a flood of pit stops as the positions changing throughout the field. So Miller up into 7th place now, Smith back up to 8th, Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Kamaru 10th. So Wilco's made a pit stop back out into 11th now on a fresh set of super softs. Lucas back out in 12th, having getting that damage fixed as well. And that's one of the earlier pit stops out of, pitted earlier than Ferdek. So looks like he's got the undercut done on Ferdek there, as Ferdek's also out on fresh rubber and runs really wide onto the grass there. Centre right at the back of the field. I don't know if he's had an incident somewhere, might have missed something before his pit stop, but anyway, we've got the race leader pitting, and Lionessy going round again to take the provisional lead of this race. Tyre wear not too bad, it's lap time 108.4, so around a second slower than, maybe just over a second slower than what Plux will be on the fresh rubber. Yeah, good track position nevertheless, and obviously Gadget, having pitted earlier, will be looking to get an undercut done on Lionessy when he eventually does pit. Hit Mac up into 4th place now, as it does look. I've pitted from 5th, and Ben is up to 5th place now, as I've pitted. Rejoin the race in 6th, just ahead of Muller, who's now got Smith for company. Yeah, racing for track position. Muller probably not far off a pit stop. Smith's getting starting to eat into those tyres a little bit as well, as he's having a battle and fight his way back through the pack. And that's Kamaru. I think that's Wilco having a little bit of a look at Kamaru there, as Kamaru's coming to the end of this stint, judging by that tyre wear. And Lucas in 12th, just keep an eye on this for a second. Let's go to the 12-minute mark now. So, yeah, Kamaru not pitting, we've got Muller pitting from what was 9th place, so Wilco's still in the slipstream of Kamaru there. And we've missed an overtake out front. So Plux has caught Lionessy up and got the job done somewhere. Let's have a quick look back. So it just looks like Plux has followed Lionessy closely until the end of lap 11, and should be a pretty simple move at the end of the main straight to reclaim the lead. But Lionessy doing a really good job this opening stint, still maintaining pretty good pace as that tyre wear starting to kick in on the Mazda now. So he does have Gadget closing the gap up behind in 3rd place. Gadget looking good for a solid 2nd place at the moment, but we're barely a quarter way through this race yet. And Lioness, he looks like he's setting himself up for one pit stop less than those around him at the very least. So we'll see how that plays out as the race carries on. Mac in 4th place, better say Ben Up's in 5th place, will be due a pit stop soon, may well pit at the end of this lap. Myself rejoining the race in 6th. Smith in 7th now, a little bit of clean air. Ahead of Cafe Del Mar in 8th place, Kamaru in 9th, still closely followed by Wilco. Lucas 11th, Muller rejoins the race in 12th, after having just pitted, and Daz in 13th. Senna ahead of Ferdek now, 14th, and Ferdek in 15th. Rejoin the race leader, plucks the duck, crossing the line now, lap 13 to start lap 13, 107.1, yeah, 108.7 from Lioness behind. So yeah, it looks like it's definitely stretching out to the 15-minute mark, and turn this into a free stop. But, we'll see how that plays out. As I say, so a lot of guys choosing to take an extra pit stop today. It's making the most of the fresh rubber, as it is a very, very, very short pit stop at Blue Moon. It's myself in 5th. I think I've overtaken Ben on track somewhere. Yeah, because Ben's still not pitted. He was ahead of me, I think. Yeah, so Ben in 6th, still carrying on with that tyre wear. So dropping down to 1 minute 10 on that last lap. Be under pressure from Smith very soon as well. But yeah, definitely got to pit. We've got Lioness pitting from 2nd place. Be interested to see where he feeds back into things now. Should slot in behind hit the Mac, I think. If he's depending if he takes on any fuel or not. Should be safe from myself in 5th place. Yeah, Ben choosing the pit. Lap time really starting to suffer there. And Lioness rejoining the race in 4th place. Good solid opening stint there. Got myself in 5th. On pretty fresh rubber, having pitted reasonably recently, with Smith coming to the end of his stint by the looks of it in 6th place. Cafe Del Mar in 7th. So Wilco's got some rear left suspension damage by the looks of it, don't know where he's picked that up. So Lucas with front right suspension damage. I'd say that was contact, but I've had a couple of incidents today at Blue Moon. See how much this affects their speed, but yeah, shame Lucas out on a fresh rubber again, and having to run with damage for this stint as well. We'll see if he chooses to pit this time or carry on. Miller be looking to get ahead of Lucas at soonest opportunity. Lucas still getting some slipstream. So yeah, Smith's pitted from, I think it was 6th place. Yeah, Lucas still getting some slipstream from the car ahead. Muller not being able to do anything down the main straight, and Smith rejoining the race in 8th place there, crucially ahead of this battle. Next man up the road is Wilconator, about a half a second up the road there. Cafe Del Mar in a bit of clean air now, myself in a bit of clean air in 5th. Yeah, top 5, top 6 positions being maintained for the moment. Little bit of field spread with the top 5 there. Give a gap back to Cafe Del Mar 6. Oh, a bit of contact there. No damage on the graphic though. Gets away with that. As Smith will take a look at Wilco around this long left-hander on the final corner of the lap and gets ahead, which will give Wilco a tow. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Lucas, Ben, and Muller 3 abreast down the main straight. Almost, and Ben just on the inside there. So, is that a disconnect? It's a strange crash there. I think Muller's still planted in the barrier. I think that's a, yeah, that looks like a connection issue there from Muller. We may well have lost him from the race. A real shame there. Yeah, I don't think yeah, that was a strange one, but yeah, I think that was just a DC. Yeah, he was just getting in a bit of a battle there with Ben and Lucas, and this is still a 4-5 car battle here from 8th place. And Lucas still ahead of this train, carrying on with that damage. He's got Ben on really fresh super softs now. He's got Gadget pitting from 2nd place there on the graphic. Probably rejoin the race in 4th, I'd imagine. So let's keep an eye on this little battle in the midfield. And so yeah, Gadget rejoining the race on 4th now. Myself still in 5th. Smith 6th, Wilco 7th, as that's Ben just breaking the toe of the cars behind, or just getting the overtake done on Lucas there, sorry. So better top end speed from Ben there, getting the job done down the main straight up into 8th place now. Lucas down to 9th. Camaro up into 10th now, as he looks like he's got around the inside of Cafe Del Mar, and does it in 12th place. Cafe Del Mar out on the racing mediums now, interesting choice there. See what sort of speed he can carry, as he's got Daz on the slightly worn super softs all over the back of him at the moment. Ferdek in 13th and Senna in 14th, looks like he's just pitted as well. So Plux crosses the line in 1st place. It's hitting the 20-minute mark now. Hickley Mac in the 2nd will be due to pit stop soon. Really consistent lap times there from all the top drivers. 107, mid 107s. So 106.4 there from Gadget on the last lap. That may well have been his out lap. 107.8 from myself in 5th. 106.9. Smith finding his groove again. And not even halfway through the race yet. See how much Smith can recover from this race. It's a little bit hot into that corner, but keeps control. And Smith in 6th, Wilco in 7th. This battle behind Ben in 8th. Camaro up to 9th now, so Camaro's got the job done on Lucas somewhere as well, as Lucas obviously struggling with that damage. It's really close racing here. I think Camaro should be safe. Looks like he might have the inside of Ben going into the final bend, but just slots back onto the racing line, or just grazes the wall there. So should have good toe down the main straight. I imagine getting an overtake done on Ben at the end of it. Both these guys similar tyre wear now, so evenly matched on tyre performance. And Camaro moves out to the inside and just comfortably moves up into 8th place. Ben slots back into 9th. Lucas carrying on with that damage in 10th. Cafe Del Mar in 11th, dropping back from this battle up ahead, and so it looks like he's struggling with the racing mediums. Daz on the worn super softs and setting his personal best at the moment anyway, because he goes sideways through the right hander there. But yeah, Cafe Del Mar struggling to pull away from Daz. And yeah, Ferdek 13th, Senna in 14th. As we've got Mac pitting from 2nd place, promoted line Essie up to 2nd again. Gadget in 3rd now, and Mac should rejoin. I would have thought he would have rejoined the race in 4th, but it looks like I've done just enough to get myself ahead this stage of the race. Myself in 4th place now, some solid 107.6 is the last few laps, and yeah, Mac rejoins the race in 5th. Smith in 6th, Ben in 7th, clean air back to Cafe Del Mar in 8th now. That is still all over the back of Cafe at the moment. It's got to be coming towards the end of these tyres now. So Wilco in 10th place, out on fresh rubber. Camaro's pitted as well, rejoins it in 11th. Ferdek coming towards the end of his stint, in 12th at the moment. Send it back up into 13th now, after Lucas has pitted, got that damage fixed again, and rejoins the race at the back of the pack now, 14th. See if you can get a clean stint in and recover a few places from the back. And it looks like Gadget is really starting to close the gap up to Lionessi ahead now. There's Lionessi just extending the stint again. Maybe driving a little bit more conservatively than he would. Just trying to preserve the tyres a little bit more. Got Gadget crawling all over the back of him at the moment. Looks like he's really in a good position to get a move done at the end of the straight, as you got the race leader pitting from first place, should comfortably rejoin the race in first place now. And Lionessi just moving to the inside, see if Gadget's carrying enough overspeed to get the job done around the outside. I think he has. He'll have the tyre grip to do it. Yeah, just sweeps around the outside to take second place. Lionessi in third place now, as Mac up into fourth. So yeah, he's got an overtake done on myself there somewhere. Myself back down to fifth. May well have been at the end of that straight as well. He's already pulled a gap. So Smith starting to close the gap to myself now, and Ben in a lot of clean air front and back. A little bit of a race of his own for this stage of the race. Just coming up to the halfway point. Still got this group behind, and Dad's still carrying on with that tyre wear, as Wilco's made up a place up to 9th. Dad's dropping down to 10th. Under pressure for Kamaru, next man down the road on the fresh rubber. Kamaru just takes a little bit of a look up the inside. I think he can just afford to be a lot later on the brakes, and yeah, just comes and moves ahead of Daz there. Let's see what Wilco could do. Cafe Lemon are really struggling on these racing mediums. Got myself pitting from what was 5th place with Smith behind, so Smith choosing to pit as well. Should rejoin the race in 5th, with Smith just coming out the pits behind in 6th. A little bit more fuel on board for myself at the moment. Let's see how that pans out as Ben carries on. Another one of the drivers, I think, trying to stretch this out to a free stopper. So 7th place there, clean air. That's Kamaru's ahead of Wilco, so I think Cafe Del Mar must have pitted. We'll have a little run through the grid, but yeah, Kamaru up to 8th place now, Wilco 9th, Senna in 10th, Daz in 11th, pitted, fresh rubber. And yeah, Cafe Del Mar fitted, gone back to the super softs. Obviously, didn't get on with those racing mediums at all. Rejoins the race in 12th place. Lorca's not that far behind in 13th, doing better. Well, not doing better, has more fuel on board at the moment, and that will come into play around the next couple of pit stops. It's 26 minutes now. And it looks like Mac is starting to close the gap up to Lionessi now, as Lionessi's tyre wear starting to kick in. Not that much between them in lap times, as he takes a little bit of a look on the inside, and I think just yielded it a little bit there, and Lionessi takes 3rd place back. Oh, he's lost the back end again there. So Mac all over the back of Lionessi at the moment. So obviously the best opportunity to overtake probably coming up at the end of this straight. But so Lionessi dropping back. Could this be a little tactic to re-overtake Mac, as he just sort of yielded the position around that corner to get this toe? But Mac, as long as Mac gets a bit of a toe from Gadget up ahead, he should be safe. And obviously the better tyre wear at this stage of the race as well. So Mac back up into 3rd place now. Lionessi in 4th. Good bit of action between those two. Myself in 5th, as Smith sets another personal best on the last lap. to close the gap on myself there. Looks like I've had a really poor turn one. Imagine this would be pretty inevitable that Smith will overtake. One, because he's very, very quick, and two, I know he's very, very quick and he's right behind me, so I'll probably make a mistake. So doing enough at the moment to hold on to 5th place. Lambo squirming all over the place, filling up my mirrors at the moment, and I've had a poor exit out of there and could cheekily, oh, that's a poor last corner from Smith there. He hasn't picked up damage thankfully, but that will re-promote myself back up to 5th there. Terrible driving from the pair of us. It's myself back in 5th as Gadget's pit stops rejoins the race in 4th place, and Lioness is still yet to pit. So Smith taking a look around the outside of T1. Got myself just hugging the apex there, much better exit. Yeah, a little bit tidy that time, holding on to 5th place. Smith still in 6th. But yeah, Gadget pitting, rejoining the race in 4th place. Ben's still pushing for that half an hour mark by the looks of it, as he does have Kamaru starting to close the gap up behind with Wilco and So. Both those guys on a lot fresher rubber than Ben at the moment. You've got Smith still putting myself under pressure as we come towards the end of lap 26. And yeah, just keep it out of the wall this time, and this should be pretty textbook. Down the main straight. So the little gulf's not too bad on the straight, but yeah, not a lot we can do there as Smith moves himself up into 5th place. Myself down to 6th. Ben finally pitting from what was 7th place, so this will promote Kamaru up into 7th. So I think he was pretty close to being on track before he pitted, and we'll go up into 8th as well. As that sounds like some bit of tyre smoke from the Viper there. And Wilco say up to 8th place. Daz up to 9th. And Ben rejoining the race in 10th, just ahead of this fight between Cafe Del Mar and Lucas for 11th and 12th. And Lucas having run probably more than half this race, well, majority of the race so far, having run with damage. Yeah, really unfortunate when that happens, but what can you do? So it's rejoining the race now. You've got Lioness rejoining the race in 6th place, having taken on nearly a tank of fuel on that last pit stop. Costing him a chunk of time there, dropping right back down to 6th place. And yeah, Smith's up into 4th, myself in 5th. Still in the tow of Smith though. So a slightly better tyre, whereas Smith pitted a bit earlier, and he's done a poor exit out of the second to last corner there. And that is Smith peeling off into the pits actually, so I've got myself back up to 4th place now. And next man down the road will be Lioness. See where he is in comparison to Smith, see how much fuel Smith takes on as well. But that is Smith rejoining the race in 5th. Did we miss an incident with Lioness? Was like refueling that much really cost that much time? And yep, Smith has taken on no fuel on that pit stop, and that is more than likely why he has got track position over Lioness. He literally taken on no fuel at all. That's going to be an absolute sprint. This this stint from Smith. Imagine him to be looking to go purple at some point. So yeah, rejoins the race in 5th anyway, but we'll have to pit again. So Lioness is in a pretty good position at the moment. We'll hit the Mac pitting from 2nd place. Gadget should move up into 2nd there, and he does. Next man down the road is myself in 3rd, and that is Mac just about rejoining the race ahead of myself there. I'm taking on a little bit more fuel, so yeah, just a bit more fuel then, and he would have lost track position to myself. So I was sort of saying earlier in the race how yeah, fuel levels over these next couple of pit stops will be critical. As we'll see Lioness choose to go for a long fuel on that stop, and he has lost track position, but he's still in clean air and can run his own race. And as I say, does have to pit one less time than the guys around him at least, I'd imagine. But that's up to 7th place now. There's Ben in 8th place, so yeah, midfield battle moving around all over the place. Send it up to 9th, but critical on fuel. So we'll have to pit very similar to Ferdek, and that should release Kamaru, who has just pitted recently as well. You see on the fresh rubber. Yeah, should release Kamaru for this next stint. And Cafe Del Mar and Fresh Super Sauce also. Wilco out on Fresh Super Sauce in 13th, and yeah, all the guys at the back now, barring I think that's Ferdek peeling off there. Yeah, so Ferdek and Senna choosing to go for another lap as well, but they had 4 cars behind, all very similar strategies at the moment. So just rejoining the race around the 37-minute mark, on board with myself. Probably having one of my best tier 1 drivers from endurance championship races to date. But yeah, running in 4th, keeping Smith reasonably honest, and yeah, just decide to pit maybe a lap early just to give myself find a bit of clean air, and decide to do this. Just drive into the wall, get reset, pick up damage, and go for another lap. As I think that is Ben just coming up, sorry, Lioness just coming up behind. But yeah, absolute potato. Don't know what I was thinking. But rejoining the race in 5th, having to pit again. So Smith having pitted now for out on the Fresh Super Sauce, took on a bit of fuel that time. But yeah, he'll be approaching myself. How I didn't get engine damage with that crash, I don't know. So I will 100% agree with everyone about the heavy damage being a little bit irregular, inconsistent. Yeah, you see the crash, and that gave me a bit of suspension and aero damage. But anyway, myself in 5th place, Smith in 6th, soon to overtake me, I think. There's a little bit further up the road, you've got Gadget, Gadget pitting from 3rd. Or that may have been 2nd place, I think he's pitted from. So Smith hit the Mac up into 2nd place now. Lioness with that full tank of fuel. Looks like Gadget is out ahead, and we'll have to put a bit of fuel on the next stop as well. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out between Gadget and Lioness here, as I think they may well have Smith for company soon as well. As, there we go, Smith going purple. I think he's got a sniff of a podium now. May well find an extra gear and really start pushing these 2 guys in front towards the end. But we'll see where Mac how Mac plays out as well. So obviously going to go around, probably set himself up for one more stop this race, and then he'll be good to the end. So yeah, it's the end of lap 40, Smith coming in the pits again. Lioness has made his final pit stop of the race. Good for fuel, good for tyres. Smith does have to take on a bit of fuel on this pit stop, so we'll see how close he is to Lionessy. He's just coming out the pit exit now. This is going to be close, but yeah, Lionessy just sweeps around the outside. Got plenty of momentum and moves himself back up into 4th place now. See what Smith can do from 5th. I imagine you're looking to put him under pressure straight away, but Lionessy, a very, very quick driver as well. Doing a much better job on the tyres today. Smith still has 14 minutes to go on this set of super softs. See if he's let's have a quick on board with Smith. So we haven't done many on boards today. Slipstream kicking in nicely, and Lionessy moving to the inside, goes defensive. So he's later on the brakes. So Smith is later on the brakes, but you just hear the understeer, tyre squealing, and just not managed to slow the car down as well, as Nessie goes back up the inside, reclaims 4th place, but sorry, poor camera work there, but that was a very close race in between the two there, and absolutely zero contact by the looks of it. And Smith moves himself back up into 4th place. We'll see if Nessie can fight back, or he chooses to drive a little bit more conservatively, as he does have to make the tyres last. There's Mac pitting from 2nd place now, Gadget back up into 2nd. Yeah, he just passes the pit exit. Gadget looking quite reasonably light on fuel there, may have to stop again. 2nd place for the moment, as Hit the Mac rejoins the race in 3rd, and rejoining the battle for 4th and 5th. Smith just about doing enough there to stay in front out of T1. Just take a normal racing line for the next series of corners. So 4th place for Smith at the moment. Lionessy in 5th. Looks like I've got myself back up into 6th, so let's say may have to pit again. So the cars ahead of me have pitted, which would have been Ben and Kamaru. As Daz has made some places up there, as he's not even tall. He's been out on the softs a little bit longer. Did pit a little while ago. Might be good to the end though, we'll see. Might just choose to try and keep that track position. He's got a bit of a gap back to Lucas behind, who is on some fresh super softs, so in a position to close the gap up to Daz ahead. But yeah, Lucas 10th, Cafe Del Mar, closely followed by Wilco in 12th, closely followed by Senna in 13th. A little bit further back in 14th. So just rejoining the race on the 50-minute mark, and Smith not managing to build a gap to Lionessy at all. So just coming to the halfway point on lap 44 through the hairpin, and a very rare mistake from Smith again, as he just puts a wheel on the grass and loses the back end. Doesn't get any damage, but yeah, loses a lot of time. 2 very uncharacteristic mistakes from Smith, as he finds himself recovering in 5th place now. Got a good enough gap back to Ben in 6th, up into 6th place now. As I've made my last pit of the race. Kamaru behind. Yeah, Dad's still choosing to stay out, doing a good job conserving the tyres. So for 10 minutes of this race to go. So quick run through the grid. We've got Plux in a very comfortable first place. He's made his last pit stop of the race. Back to second place, you've got Hit the Mac now, so has managed to pit and get out and stay out ahead of Gadget, who's in third place under quite a bit of pressure from Lionessi now, who's definitely started to turn the pace up a bit. So that tyre wear is going to cost him, but right in the slipstream with Gadget up ahead now. Just takes a little bit of a look, just letting Gadget know he's there, so just follows him through T1 for the moment. So Gadget in third place, Lionessi in fourth, Smith in fifth place, looking skinny on fuel again, so it looks like he will be pitting again. Don't think Ben is close enough, and that looks like myself trying to break the toe of Kamaru behind, as Kamaru has really closed that 106.6 from Kamaru in that last lap. Yeah, very, very quick time. I don't think that's far off the fastest lap of the race, to be fair. But yeah, putting myself under all sorts of pressure at the moment, this last stage of the race. Fight for 7th and 8th. Dad's dropping back a little bit now in 9th place as Kamaru's picked the pace up. So we're starting to struggle with that tyre wear a little bit. It does look safe from Lucas though, just got to keep the tyres at the end of the race now, as tyre wear will start hampering Lucas's progress up the field, as Senna in 11th should be good to the end of the race now. Wilco in 11th, just about in Senna's toe at the moment. Ferdig in 13th and Cafe de Mar in 14th. Just rejoining the race again, 53-minute marks. Kamaru putting myself under all sorts of pressure, really closed that gap up swiftly. Right on my gearbox at the moment. Got better tyre wear at the moment, but Kamaru's still managing to carry more pace this stage of the race. Ben a little bit further up ahead, maybe pulling away as myself and Kamaru get into a bit of a battle. Oh, looks like Kamaru's just hit the barrier there. I think he just got caught out by a bit of dirty air. Follow myself around the final corner, and that will definitely give myself the breathing room I need to close the race out, as it was a lot quicker at that stage of the race. But next man down the road is Daz. Excuse me, still holding on to that 9th place, really struggling with the tyres now. It does look like Lucas is closing the gap up on Daz. But Kamaru left with a choice now to carry on with that damage and try and retain track position, or if you can sneak a pit in and stay out ahead of Daz, it might be close. Only 5 minutes of the race left to go now. A quick run through the grid again. Plux first place, just coming through some back markers at the moment. Plux in first, Mac in second, Gadget in third, Lionessi in fourth, Smith in fifth, Ben in sixth, myself in seventh, Kamaru 8th, Daz in 9th, Lucas in 10th, Senna in 11th, Wilco 12th, Ferdig 13th and Cafe Del Mar in 14th. So rejoining the race up ahead again, it looks like Lucas has picked up damage somewhere again. Front left this time, rear damage for Daz, so I don't know, might have been contact between the two, but Lucas has been closing that gap up slightly over the last couple of laps. We're just under a minute left to go this race now. This will be the last lap for these guys. Daz down to 10th place now, so yeah, I don't know what happened between those two, but Lucas in very familiar territory and trying to carry this car through a lap of Blue Moon with damage and see if they can fight back. But back to our leader, Plucks the Duck. First place now, 30 seconds left of the race to go, and could actually be the first official finisher as well. He's just coming up to some blue flags up ahead. Yeah, outstanding race from Pluck. Shame Smith did make a couple of mistakes as the race has panned out today. It looks like Smith would have been the only man that could have really taken the race to Plucks today. Here it is, cross the line in first place. Another win in Tier 1 for Plucks the Duck. Congratulations. And Mac, second place. Really good drive from Mac. And yeah, finally getting the results that his pace deserves. Managed to stay out of trouble and kept it really clean and consistent. Comes home in second place. Gadget picking up the final podium spot. As multi-pit stop strategy today has played out, and just about beating Lionessi. It's Lionessi crossing the line in fourth place with 0% fuel, so definitely maxed out his strategy today. Smith in fifth place. Yeah, what to say, really got the fastest lap right at the end there. That's a 106.2. Brings it home in fifth. Yeah, so they did have a lot of pace, and Ben doing enough to hold on to sixth place, ahead of myself in seventh. Just running out of fuel, crossing the line there. Kamara in eighth, Lucas in ninth, Daz in 10th, Senna 11th, Wilco 12th, Cafe Del Mar in 13th, and 13th and 14th. That was the Drivers' Room Endurance Championships. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. And they're taking a little bit of a look into the hairpin. Oh, might have been a bit of contact there as Wilco runs a little bit wide.